Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from the Bulletcast. It's Philip. How's it going, man?
Huey, it's Thursday night. You were my third podcast of the day. You know, the microphone messiah. Yeah, he lives up to the gimmick. Just constant recording, constant putting over talent, constantly making people look good or sound good in a capacity with our carry conversations. I'm doing all right, man. How are you? You all right? You good?
I'm doing good. I finally finished Zack Snyder's Justice League. That dropped last week on HBO Max, so it's the big Justice League movie that dropped, not to be confused with the version that came out in, I believe, 2017. So, for anyone listening right now and know about the whole Justice League drama and the story behind it, you already know I'm not going to go into full detail. So Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, the 4-hour version, it finally was released last week on HBO Max. And on Saturday, I got through about like 2.5 hours of it. And then I stopped and I do some other stuff with In The Kliq related stuff, and finished watching some other wrestling shows. So I got sidetracked and then been busy with work. And then today, I got home and I was like, you know what? I need to finish this. So I finished the last hour and a half, and man, much better, such a great movie compared to the 2017 version. So I'm very happy I got to finish it. And yeah, man, here we are in this, we're getting like 2021, we're getting all these like superhero shows and movies and a bunch of stuff, just making up for lost time from the pandemic year of last year. So tomorrow on Friday morning will be another episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. Looking forward to that. So much content. But as I was telling you off the air, I was able to focus and watch NXT and Aew Dynamite last night, and so I got everything fresh in my head. And then I know lately we've been recording on Saturdays, and I was like, dude, you want to record Thursday? And of course you made the time, and thank you. Like you said, you got 3 podcasts in the works today, so I appreciate you making the time, man. But I hope you enjoy. I'm wearing my Eddie Guerrero shirt for you. I know it's one of your favorites. Looks good. Looks okay on you.
Viva la raza!
I like this one. It's like the Scarface inspired one. But I got it off Pro Wrestling Tees. What's funny is, I'm showing you on the camera, but for everyone listening on the audio version. So this is Pro Wrestling Tees' version, and since it's not officially like WWE merch, it's the photo of him holding the Undisputed Championship, but they take out the WWE logo in it. So I thought that was kind of funny. They should have
just put their logo in it.
I fill it in myself with like a white marker or something.
Just put like ITK in there.
Tape it in or something like
Absolutely.
that. But my only one little problem with this shirt is I've noticed with like Pro Wrestling Tees. I love Pro Wrestling Tees. I love their website and all that stuff. But when they have like big white patches of the material, after a couple washes, it starts falling apart or breaking up right here. I don't know if you can see. Well, it's kind of tough to see on the camera. But anyway, I'm the little bum about that.
You know what material doesn't break from Pro Wrestling Tees?
What's that?
Bulletcast merchandise. Go get some.
Absolutely. Nice little plug right there. Speaking of plugs, as always, remember, subscribe to In The Kliq on your favorite podcast platform. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. We're on YouTube as well. All that good stuff. And then emails anytime inthekliq@gmail.com. And also follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all over social media. Get the merch while you're on social media. Click the link in our bio and pick up the In The Kliq merch as well. As well with the Bulletcast merch as well. And so here we are back at it for a very special episode of In The Kliq. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. We're going to, of course, talk about Aew Dynamite like I always do when Philip joins me. But we're also going to talk a little Monday Night Raw, talk some highlights. I know we don't usually, Philip, you and I have a chance to talk as much WWE stuff as usual. But this episode of Monday Night Raw, I felt had a lot of stuff develop, especially building up for WrestleMania 37. A lot of matches were officially announced, what night they're going to happen between night 1 and night 2. And so I know I usually talk WWE stuff on Sundays with Tommy and Richard, but I was like, you know what? I want to kind of get this out while it's still the middle of the week, early in the week. So that way it's not too late by the time I get it out, maybe the podcast Sunday night or Monday morning. So I figure you and I, we could talk AEW, talk some Monday Night Raw, and we could talk some clickbait news. And some breaking clickbait news today. I saw the press release. I saw it all over social media. It was announced Impact Wrestling is moving to Thursday nights, and it's all due to the NWA, man.
No, we all know NXT is the real reason why. Stop playing. Stop playing.
Your reaction.
Stop playing. Stop playing, man. I mean, they're moving to Thursdays. That's congratulations. I mean, the quote unquote best wrestler in the world today, the best bout machine, was on Impact on Tuesday. That was their lowest drawing show of this year. So if Kenny Omega can't get them to watch, I don't know what's going to get Jericho. Like get a real star.
So yeah, it's I posted this earlier, but just in case. So yes, it was announced that Impact Wrestling is going to stay on Access TV, but it's moving to Thursday nights, and it's going to start on Thursday, April 8th. And a part of that first episode back on Thursday nights, it's going to be a special one. Let's see. It says Impact World Champion Rich Swann, AEW World Champion Kenny Omega will be part of a massive 6-man main event for the first Impact on Access on Thursday, April 8th. And so, and you can read all about it on Impact Wrestling's website. So when I saw that news, one, I was not completely shocked at all for multiple reasons. As we just alluded to a second ago, there's been so much rumors and talks of NXT possibly moving to Tuesday nights in regards to USA Network, want to move them over there. And what's the motivation behind it all? Was it regards to maybe they want to try to boost the ratings? Is it because maybe hockey was going to be on Wednesdays? NBC Sports Network is closing down, is shutting down. So a lot of the sports that they were showing there is going to probably move to USA Network. And so therefore probably going to be on Wednesday nights. And so therefore NXT would have to move. There's a whole bunch of speculation in regards to that. And so with that being said, if NXT, one of the biggest brands out there right now, moving to Tuesdays, that was going to be a big doom for Impact Wrestling. How are they going to compete with that? And so a lot of people were anticipating, well, if NXT moves to Tuesday, then Impact will probably have to move to a different night. And the only other open night in the week is Thursday nights. And it makes sense. Impact Wrestling for many years was on Thursday nights on the other various TV networks that they were on. I saw a tweet someone posted out, I think all the different networks they were on in the last 10 years. Man, they've bounced around so much. I mean, to Impact Wrestling and TNA's credit, I mean, how long they've been around. Philip, can you imagine? I think Impact/TNA as a promotion, they've been around longer than I think WCW ever was. Does that sound right to you? Because think about
2002 to 2021, that's 19 years. And WCW itself was what?
Late 80s. Right?
80, 89?
Roughly,
89 to
NWA,
01?
Yeah. To 01. So, not even, I think, a full 15 years.
They were around 12, if that's right.
I think roughly, yeah. I mean, it's off top of our heads. Sorry. We didn't have a chance to research that.
Honestly, Vince should have just bought them out and we'd all be fine.
With TNA?
Yeah.
I know
get the library. We all would have been fine. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it's but big news. So yeah, in recent years, Impact's been bouncing around from network to network. So I'm really glad though that they've been able to land on Access TV. I'm a big fan of Access TV in general, just for all their music stuff and all the live concerts and music documentaries and interviews that they show. Access TV, I think, is owned by Anthem, and Anthem's the one who bought Impact Wrestling. So makes sense for the parent company that owns Impact Wrestling and this TV network has their show put on the network. So, but yeah, Thursday nights, fine by me. Great spot. I think if anything, that makes things a lot easier. I think for a lot of people, as far as TV consumption. And here's the other thing too. And like I was joking, but I think partly there is some, there is some connection there. Cause you think about it, this past week, NWA made its big return with her Back for the Attack pay-per-view on Sunday, and then NWA Power, their first episode back after their year-long hiatus, was also this Tuesday, and that's going to be a regular thing on Tuesdays on Fight TV. So let's think about it, man. I mean, Tuesdays is already going to be really congested with potentially NXT, and this has not been officially announced. This is all just rumors, but let's say, yeah, NXT moves to Tuesdays. You got NWA also on Tuesday. So if Impact would have stayed, that's 3 shows on a Tuesday night. So they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just leapfrog to Thursdays. Much better for us, and I'm all for it. But yeah, are you cool with this move to Thursdays? I mean, I know like we don't talk a whole lot about Impact Wrestling, but I know there's a fan base out there.
I don't watch it, but if you want to hear Impact Wrestling coverage, go on the Bulletcast, listen to End of the Stratosphere, Cindy G. She makes it all happen for you. Honestly, like if there are things that interest me, sure, I'll talk about them. Like, the whole Rich Swann Moose thing, which I thought Moose should have won, but looking at how one of those guys was going to job out to Kenny, rather it be Rich Swann than Moose.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, it's fine. And with the whole NXT thing, if they were to stay a week later, that would be 83 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
So that 83 weeks that AEW dominated over NXT.
I mean, NXT won a couple weeks, but I'm saying like the quote unquote war would be 83 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some. It's just weird, man. 2021's a weird year with the numbers.
Totally, it is, man. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, Thursdays, I'm not as busy on Thursday nights with other stuff other than you and I recording. Who knows? Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there, man. If you and I record on Thursdays like this on a regular basis, maybe we could throw some Impact stuff as well in there. Who knows? Or maybe if something major happens. And plus, keep in mind, Impact and AEW have been working together, so I'm sure it was Impact Wrestling. They've been doing like those promos with Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone promoting what was going to be on Dynamite the following night. So now one of it's going to be the opposite. Will they have plugs or commercials on AEW on Wednesday promoting what's going to happen on Impact the following night? So maybe that's going to be a little funny reverse psychology of sorts. So we'll see how it goes. I'm glad Impact is sticking around, and this is going to be their new home. So it's cool. It just spreads it out. I mean, Philip, you and I, we joked about this. Literally, there's a wrestling show every single night in the week. Monday Night Raw on Monday, NXT potentially, and NWA on Tuesdays, AEW Wednesday.
Whoa. What about Dark Elevation on Monday?
Dark.
And AEW Dark on Tuesday.
I'm just saying that there's so much damn wrestling out there. It's so much to keep track of.
MLW's out there, NXT, Dynamite. You have
Impact,
SmackDown.
Thursday, SmackDown, Saturday and Sunday. You got the weekend shows, and that's not the Ring of Honor, New Japan Strong on Fridays. There's so much wrestling.
Sidebar: Ring of Honor is having their pay-per-view tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I just thought about that. Wow.
Do you want to check it out?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe we could talk off the air. Their 19th anniversary show is Friday night, so a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, dude, there's so much, like I said, damn wrestling to consume. Literally, that's why there's so many like podcast hosts out there who podcast daily, because there's so much radio content, podcast wrestling content out there. So, oh man, so much. But all right, let's jump on over to Monday Night Raw this week. A lot happened, and it was the Fallout episode from Fastlane. And so here we are officially, no more pay-per-views in the way before we get to WrestleMania. So we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. No speed bumps, no potholes, nothing in the way that's going to slow down our momentum, or I should say WWE's momentum, for WrestleMania, so they can just truly focus on building up to night 1 and night 2 for the card. Unfortunately, it's only 3 weeks, so it's going to be a lot of stuff. I think shoehorn, last minute stuff. But this past Monday, dude, they announced a bunch of related matches and what's going to be on night 1, night 2. So I figure what we could do, let's go down the card, the preview so far of what's happening at WrestleMania 37, and then how that tied into Monday Night Raw this week.
Start thinking about your predictions, bud.
Dude, I mean, there's so much. I mean,
do you forget you're the champion?
Nah. I'm always champion. I mean, I got so much gold though around me. I got my belts behind me. There's so much.
Those don't matter.
Oh, they matter to me, man.
Those are toys. This is the real deal.
They're not toys. They are. Well, these are action figures.
What? Well, I got to throw it out there. Speedy recovery to my boy West Coast Design. He came into contact with somebody with COVID, so
no,
I don't know if he got it for sure, but just hope he's feeling better.
Yeah, man. No, totally. That's scary stuff. I mean, I know you and I were talking last week, or last episode that you and I were together. We got our shots so far, our first shots. I'm like, I was kind of like thinking about it. I was like, man, I feel like Captain America when he got the super soldier serum and got the shots. I'm like, all right, I'm amped up. Like, come on, COVID. You're not going to take me down now. I'm going to fight this off. And then my dad got his second COVID shot yesterday. So big sigh of relief. Just everyone in our household is almost done now. And so, yeah, hopefully this pandemic is going to be done sooner rather than later.
When I see you in person, I'm going to give you the longest hug in the world.
I was going to say.
Is that weird? Is that weird?
No. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, everyone's joking like, oh, it's going to be like the Roaring 20s again. And here we are in 2021. So everyone's going to try and make up for lost time and just party and go crazy. I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm still going to be a little, hesitant on just being around people. I'm still going to wear a mask and stuff.
Absolutely. But when I see you, I'm gonna hug you for a long period of time. No talking, just.
That was like Family Guy where he was.
Oh, when he falls down, he's like, I've done that before. Like I fell, I got like rug burn, which is, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh man,
I do that. I fell down some stairs last week. You see the bruise on my arm there.
Bro, are you okay?
I'm fine. But it's like same thing. It's just not between being embarrassed and just like.
Oh, is there people around?
My dad and my brother heard me. And so anyway, I'm just, but I'm saying like, you just sit there and you're like, just like breathe the pain away. Deep breaths, breathe it in and out, like breathe away. But yeah, so let's go ahead and run down what we know so far about WrestleMania 37. Night 1's going to be April 10th. Night 2, of course, April 11th. And so far they announced for night 1, it's going to be Sasha Banks defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. You and I are talking off the air. Yes.
It needs to main event. There's no question about it. That needs to be the last match on night 1.
How come?
Guaranteed the main event of WrestleMania. What's the true main event? The last match on the show. Bianca won the Royal Rumble. It just makes sense. Like, and plus, I know people are talking about like the historical value, which, I mean, this is the first time 2 black people have been in a main event of a WWE pay-per-view since Booker and Rock in 2001.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So there's historical value there too. Plus, like for women in WWE, they love about the women's revolution. Mm-hmm. But hey, man, like just let them do it. Like give them 25 minutes, let them tear it up, and let's be happy with it. If
they are officially the last match, I could see Bianca Belair winning then, because I know Vince likes to end on a happy note, a happy ending, like in Hollywood. So Bianca Belair, who's more the babyface right now in this rivalry, Sasha Banks last week on SmackDown kind of went more heelish. So I could see at Fastlane she went more heelish, but I could see Bianca Belair winning, and rightfully so. I mean, I love Bianca Belair, and she's been so awesome. So early prediction right there for that. And so, I mean, I had some more SmackDown stuff, so we'll see more of the fallout from Fastlane on this week's episode of SmackDown. Also, looks like for night 1, it was officially announced that Bobby Lashley will defend the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre, which, what was it, last week? They're like, just announced, they're just going to fight each other. And it's like, it was just kind of thrown together. It's like, Drew McIntyre's going to take on Bobby Lashley. So I was like, oh, okay. So you think that'll probably be second to last then? So if Bianca and Sasha are last?
Yeah, I mean, like, when Brock's around and he's Universal Champion, how often did the WWE title main event?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, let's be real. So if it doesn't happen for another night, you'll be fine. Lashley needs to win there too.
And that's the thing. I'm kind of with you, man. I want to see Lashley retain and just keep a long title reign, build up on that. But I'm kind of worried now. So on Raw this week, we saw Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus again, a rematch, because they just wrestled each other the week before. So that was just kind of unexpected. Good old big hoss match. Sheamus, Sheamus, we've talked about this last year. It's been like a renaissance for him and his wrestling. He's been on these banger matches and whatnot. So, But we saw Bobby Lashley pick up the victory, though. But he was a little upset at the guys in the Hurt Business because they were kind of interfering. And he still picked up the victory, but him and MVP were mad at Shelton and Cedric because they're like, no, we don't need your help. We don't need you to interfere because we want to, it embarrasses Bobby Lashley. It makes him look like a not a strong champion. So do you agree with kind of that motivation, MVP, what he was saying there?
Yeah, I mean, guys can have the title and not feel really important. I mean, Lashley has it. Looks like $1 million. He's suited and booted. But, just kind of let him do him, and he can go down some real roads to the top.
Yeah, and then we also saw it was announced that when after the match they were beating up on Sheamus, Drew McIntyre came out and made the save, which was kind of interesting since him and Sheamus have had that falling out and they've been going at it. But Drew McIntyre more or less said like he still has respect for Sheamus and just doesn't want to see him get beat up like that. And then later on, it was announced that Drew McIntyre was going to take on Cedric and Shelton Benjamin on a 1-on-2 handicap match. And partly this was MVP telling his guys, hey, you got to make good, man. You embarrassed Bobby Lashley, you got to make it up to him. And so they're like, okay, we'll have this match, and thinking they could easily beat him. But if Drew McIntyre wins, then those two guys are going to be banned from the match at WrestleMania, banned from being ringside. And the match played out. It was a good match. And Drew McIntyre looked so strong in this match, the way he was booked and just kicking their ass. And he ultimately picked up the victory. So Cedric and Shelton will not be ringside at WrestleMania for Bobby Lashley's match. And then afterwards, in the back, MVP and Bobby confronted them. They were pissed off. It's just like, dude, you guys embarrassed him earlier. You lost your respected match. And then we saw Bobby Lashley go into the locker room and talk to all like the guys from the 24/7 title scene and pretty much put like a bounty out there to take out Drew McIntyre. What'd you think about that?
I saw on Twitter somebody said main event mafia because like WWE main event, and then like they did like main event mafia from TNA.
Oh my God, that is funny.
I popped for that. That was great. I'm like, really, these guys?
I mean, God, it was so weird seeing Ricochet just sitting there and like he was a stud in NXT like a year or two ago, 2 years ago.
Well, he's not on TV, so following him on Instagram, that's more entertaining. But Drew Gulak, he was a little serious killer for a second.
Yeah, thanks to Daniel Bryan and their like friendship last year
and his cruiserweight title run.
Yeah,
he was a killer in Philly. I don't know, man.
So for me, it's like, okay, it's kind of cool because it reminds everyone that the Hurt Business is heels, so they're kind of desperate or want put a bounty out there to take out Drew McIntyre, the babyface. All right, from a story standpoint, I get it. I'm also just concerned because, as you and I both want to see Bobby Lashley have a longer title reign, the fact he's going down this route already, the desperation. And then is this a way to really beef up Drew McIntyre as a strong babyface that he could take out all these bounty hunters coming after him more or less? So is this more or less solidifying that he's going to win back the title at Mania? I don't know.
Look, he beat the baddest dude in the locker room, Brock Lesnar, for the title.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we know how much of a babyface the guy is.
Yeah.
And he was too much of a babyface. Like, honestly, I kind of got sick of seeing him.
And I that's a very valid point.
How often did you see Hulk Hogan as a child, Huey? Not that much.
As a child?
Yeah, and you didn't see him that much, right?
Oh, yeah, because when he did show up, it was special. Or
yeah, that's the point. They don't need to be there every week. That's
Drew kicked off like every show. He was almost like a host for Raw, coming out and like, welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, and it was getting a little annoying. I'm like, oh my God. So let them have the match. Let Lashley retain and move on to somebody else.
Yeah, and I can totally see that. I mean, but a more recent example is Walter. Walter at NXT UK, he doesn't show up all the time. And when he does show up, it's a big deal. And therefore, his opponent needs to be worried. So I like that analogy, though. And then also it was announced for night one that Bad Bunny, with Damian Priest in his corner, will be taking on The Miz with John Morrison in his corner. And this came about after we saw, let me just double check here. Oh, they don't even have it listed. Oh, we saw The Miz come out ringside, or come out to the ring for Miz TV, and he more or less challenged Bad Bunny for a match at WrestleMania. Then he had a match against Jeff Hardy, defeated him. And then Bad Bunny came out, and Bad Bunny hit The Miz with a guitar and then ran up the ring and told him, yes, I accept your match at WrestleMania, and called him a bitch. So I thought that was pretty funny. So it was interesting that it's going to be one-on-one match. I think a lot of people assume it was going to be a tag match, Miz and Morrison taking on Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. But there's some rumors that Damian Priest and John Morrison are both dealing with some injuries right now, some minor injuries. So that's why they're going to be more just present ringside. But I believe if either one of them heals up, or both heals up, I should say, maybe it could turn into a tag match down the maybe right before WrestleMania. So, well, that's yet to be seen. Jumping on over to night 2 for WrestleMania, it was announced. We all know Roman Reigns, the current Universal Champion, will be taking on Edge. That's currently what's on the books. But after the events of Fastlane, where we saw Daniel Bryan have Roman Reigns in a submission hold, Roman Reigns tapped out, but the ref was knocked out after Daniel Bryan hit him with the knee. Edge came in, he hit Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns with a chair shot each, walked out, stormed out. And then Roman was able to pick up the pieces and spear Daniel Bryan and pick up the win. So based on that very, overbooked finish for Fastlane, a lot of people are anticipating it's probably going to be a triple threat match for the Universal title. Are you cool with that?
I'm not. I mean, honestly, there's a Edge versus Roman. That's the story that I want to see personally, one-on-one. Mm-hmm. So there are a couple things we could do. We could do the triple threat, which we could stack the hell out of night 1, and Roman versus Daniel, no interference, no BS. Winner faces Edge night 2, kind of like New Japan.
I like that idea, like them doing something on night 1 that carries over to night 2, like New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, we could do something like that, or Edge versus Roman, Daniel special guest referee. I mean, there are things we can do because, it's going to devalue them,
I think from Daniel Bryan's perspective, and you and I are recording this on Thursday before SmackDown airs this week. I would not be surprised Daniel Bryan makes a case in more or less in similar words as far as, listen, I won Elimination Chamber. I beat 5 other guys. Roman, you only beat me because I was exhausted. And then I had you tapped out at Fastlane. So not only did I win Elimination Chamber, I had you tapped out at Fastlane. I deserve a rematch with you, a proper rematch. So him he's just naturally injected in this storyline with Edge and Roman. So I don't know. I'm curious how this is going to play out. Partly I was thinking, well, maybe Edge and Daniel Bryan night 1, winner fights Roman on night 2. But I like your idea. Maybe Roman, Daniel Bryan night 1, winner fights Edge the next night. So make it back to back that way. That's yet to be determined. So we'll see on SmackDown how this plays out. Also, it was announced Asuka will be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. So Asuka had a match on Raw where she defeated Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce, we all know, has been calling out Asuka on Raw Talk. So I'm glad they had their match here. But after the match, Rhea Ripley comes down the ring. She finally makes her debut on Monday Night Raw. She's officially on the Raw brand. They've been teasing this for weeks. And, so she called out Asuka and challenged her to WrestleMania, and Asuka accepted. So what do you think about this matchup between the two here?
Well, Charlotte, she has COVID, so she's out of the picture.
Yeah.
And plus the whole Andrade thing. Let's see him pop up in Ring of Honor, La Sombra all day. Look, real quick, Matt, put it on Rhea. Put it on Rhea. Because, Brandon, Asuka's been champion so long, Brandon thought this was the same reign from when Becky got pregnant. You forget Sasha popped in for a second and had the title for a little bit. Asuka, she when was the last time she defended the title?
That's what sucks. I love Asuka. You know that. We've talked about that. I still think she's the MVP or one of the MVPs of the pandemic and empty arena era of WWE.
The Performance Center era,
Performance Center era. I love Asuka. I think she's the best overall worker in that women's division. And it just sucks that they have not booked her or to defend that Raw Women's Championship on a more regular basis. It really became like a side note, and the tag championships became more of a major storyline and other stuff. So yeah, it's currently her and Rhea Ripley. I wonder. I bet this was not the original plan. I would imagine between. I think the original plan was Asuka and Charlotte, because we know Charlotte called her out a couple weeks ago, but now we know. She put on Twitter that she has COVID, so she's home recovering, and so they don't know her status for WrestleMania yet. There was a lot of speculation about that because she was taking off all the promotion artwork and graphics for WrestleMania. And of course, we all know about the stuff with Andrade. So there's a lot of people speculating Charlotte's status is a big question mark. And so as a make good, I'm fine. I'd rather see Asuka and Rhea Ripley myself. I think it's going to be a banger match. And I mean, what better way for Rhea Ripley just to kind of put that rocket on her back and then win that Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania? So it's going to be fun. I mean, but I like I said, I love Asuka. I love Rhea Ripley. I cannot wait for this match here.
Another thing I want to throw out there. Mr. and Brightest X, who does the graphics, he hit us up and he was concerned about the Rhea and Asuka match because, Rhea, it would be her redemption from last year, but then Asuka would suffer another loss. Yeah. And I'm like, well, dude, you look at Shawn and Hunter, some of the best Mania matches, they lost.
I was going to say, even Randy Orton. Doesn't Randy Orton have like a losing record at WrestleMania?
Yeah, like he doesn't win that much at WrestleMania either. So, who cares? Who cares?
And at the end of the day, Asuka, you look at her resume, her body of work in WWE/NXT.
I mean, she was undefeated for 700 something. She can lose.
She has the longest reigning NXT Women's Championship title hold, right? I believe, yeah, obviously with 700 days. She's a Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, tag titles. So she's a Grand Slam champion in their eyes.
Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble. She won the first Women's Royal Rumble.
So she has the body of work to be arguably one of, if not the greatest women's performer, wrestler in WWE's history, WWE superstar. So, like I said, to freshen things up, have the belt on someone else and let Asuka go on a chase again if they really want to, devote that time to her again. That's what I'm looking forward to. Also, it was officially announced The Fiend, along with Alexa Bliss, taking on Randy Orton. So at the end of Monday Night Raw, we saw Randy come out and, cut a promo. We see Alexa Bliss come out with a Jack in the Box, starts playing with it. And then the Jack, right, popped out. And then lights go out, and then The Fiend shows up in the ring, the current incarnation of him. So what do you think of this current incarnation, the burnt up version that we saw at Fastlane debut?
Couple things. When we see each other, let's get Jack in the Box mini tacos. Fastlane, how about that cover, huh? Wink, wink. And people are getting like Freddy Krueger vibes, because of the
Freddy Krueger, Toxic Avenger. I've heard that one.
Yeah, when the stimulus check hits, they're going to call me Brady Krueger. You feel me?
Wow.
I'm here all day. They can call me Brady Krueger. They can call me Stimmy Turner. I'm here all day. I heard this one. Sam Roberts, he said this. Child's Play, because doesn't Alexa kind of look like Tiffany, the Tiffany doll, a little bit? She's getting paler and paler with the black eyeshadow
in her eye. Yeah, they put the black eyeshadow and then like the white contact lenses with like the really small black pupils. So like it makes her eyes look like bigger.
I will pop if she gets so possessed that they get Jennifer Tilly to do a voiceover for her.
I love Jennifer Tilly. Big fan growing up.
Yes, I called her something else for a long time. Wink, wink. Yeah, man. So you kind of get Child's Play vibes, Because in Alexa, I mean, God, she's just so good, man.
I guess I can drop this. So I just booked this morning an interview with Alexa Bliss in a couple weeks. So So I might need your help prepping for that and stuff.
I got so many questions.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll talk off the air. But yeah, I got an email this morning and wrote back. And yeah, Alexa Bliss, I booked an interview with her. So that'll be a week of WrestleMania. So keep an eye on that. That's why you should subscribe to In The Kliq on your favorite podcast platform. As soon as that episode drops, the interview, you'll be alert and notified.
Yes.
Boom, listen to it.
Huey interviews the big names. I interview people you never heard of. That's how we do it here.
Tag team, baby.
Absolutely.
Was it Whoop? There it is. Or chocolate. Wait, the commercial tag team was in there. Whoop, there it is. But the ice cream. Sorry.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Sprinkles,
about.
there it is.
I mean, you and Fauci are a tag team, the Vaccine Express.
I know. Dude, so when I got my vaccine shot at the Moscone Center, not to go off on a tangent, people were lining up to take photos with that cardboard cutout of Fauci. And there was like 3 of them. There's like 2 downstairs and 1 upstairs. It's a big deal, man. I guess, to celebrate your vaccine shots, get a photo with the fake Fauci, cardboard cutout Fauci. So
tax day, it will be available to people 16 and older.
Yeah. So Gavin Newsom press conference today. So April 1st, it will be lowered to 50 and older. And then, April 15th, people over the age of 16 will be eligible to get a vaccine. So, dude, America, kudos to America, California. We're getting the vaccine out there. I mean, Biden said like his goal was 100 million shots in 100 days, and he accomplished that in 58 days. So kudos to, the administration and everyone involved, dude. Fingers crossed we can get that, the pandemic over with. And, Philip, you and I can hug in person, have some Jack in the Box, and go to wrestling shows again. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
So,
but the whole Fiend Alexa Randy thing, I wanted, like, when Randy lit him on fire, or before he lit him on fire, I was like, dude, I want them to get weird.
At TLC?
I said this months ago. I was like, I want them to get weird, and they've gotten weird. And some people have been like, oh, that's Bo Dallas in the suit. I'm like, nah, dude. Bray, he hit the gym. He got trimmed up.
Yeah, I mean, when he re-debuted at Fastlane, I was like, yeah, he looks trimmed. He's slimmed down. I mean, that's the thing. From one big guy talking about another big guy. Bray Wyatt, whenever he's been off TV and he makes a return, he looks very cut. It's just when he's back on TV, then he kind of gets bigger again. But no, to his credit, when he's off TV, he must be working out, doing his thing. But yeah, he looks great every time he's re-debuted after months off. So he looked trimmed here. Kudos to him. But yeah, in the main event here, or this last segment, Randy Orton started dumping gasoline. He brought gasoline to the ring, started throwing on him. Was getting ready to throw the match, but Fiend went after him. He hit the RKO, but the Fiend jumped back up and then put the mandible claw on him and took him out. He's laying there. He spit up black goo earlier in the segment, and then Fiend, Alexa Bliss stood over him, and then Alexa Bliss pointed to the WrestleMania sign, because that's what you got to do. You got to point to the WrestleMania sign to declare a match. So,
yeah, some people think it's stupid. I like it.
It's I like symbolically.
I want other sports to start doing that. Like, if you're going to the Super Bowl, have a Super Bowl sign and point at that thing.
Well, it's like Babe Ruth back in the day. He's calling his shot. So that's what you got to do. You got to call your shot. You got to call your match for WrestleMania. So it's official. They're going to have a match. I don't know if it's going to be cinematic or not. Do you want to be a cinematic match?
If it's the first show back with fans, you don't want to do that. You want them to like enjoy everything,
in
or
person,
maybe they can start cinematic backstage and then work their way to the ring. You could do that.
Oh, okay. Kind of like Roddy Piper and Goldust. It was
Backlot Brawl.
It was like increments throughout the WrestleMania.
Yeah, shoot that 2 weeks in advance and then finish it in the ring. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, okay, that'd be cool. So that's so far we know for night 1 and night 2. What's yet to be determined, a couple things. The New Day taking on AJ Styles and Omos. Is it Omos or Omos? I think it's Omos.
It's almost.
So it's for the Raw Tag Team Championship. So let's see. On Raw this week, Kofi took on AJ Styles. I mean, come on. These are two of the greats of their generation, so it's not going to be a bad match. It was good. But But I like how the New Day were calling and questioning the chemistry between AJ and Omos. And like, you don't know each other. And they're asking all these questions. And AJ says, yeah, I know this. His favorite color is red. And Omos had a different answer. So every time AJ answered a question, like, favorite WWE superstar. And he said, I think did he say himself? And he said, no, it's Andre the Giant. So I just laughed at that whole segment, the back and forth between all of them. But I don't know which night that's going to be on. That's yet to be determined. Also, we saw Braun Strowman is going to take on Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. So we didn't get the match at Fastlane, so it looks like it's going to carry over to WrestleMania. We saw Braun Strowman take on Elias, and he beat him. What'd you think of Braun Strowman running around the ring, and they played that train sound effect?
I didn't even know that happened. That just sounds stupid.
It was kind of goofy. I'm with you.
That sounds absolutely ridiculous.
I can only think maybe it's for little kids. So that way little kids can like go choo choo when the live crowds return and cheer on Braun that way. That's the only thing I can think of.
Like, I'm not a kid, but if I was a kid and somebody did that, I would be like, "What the hell are you like? Like, that's dumb. That's completely idiotic."
But yeah. So anyway,
that's more idiotic than Khali going into the Hall of Fame.
That's a whole nother story. Oh my God.
Congratulations to Kane, though. I'm proud of Glenn Jacobs.
That was a very cool emotional video when it was on the bump when Undertaker personally told him the good news.
They said Victoria's going to be on there. I'm like, oh, she going in? I'm like, okay. Like, no disrespect. I love Kane. Make sure, he's coming up for re-election in Knox County. Vote for him. But, I'm a Victoria guy. She ain't the lady to mess with.
It's so yeah, they're I'm looking forward to the Hall of Fame this year. It's gonna be doubled up with all these entries, so it's gonna be cool. So anyway, Elias mocked Braun Strowman on his intelligence. That's the whole thing. It's just about Braun being stupid, and then Elias and Shane had the song and they were singing along and just saying Braun stupid Braun. I'm like, oh. I'm just like, just get this over with. WrestleMania, just be done. I'm sorry. We didn't have anything better for Shane McMahon to do. One of the best performers in the history of the business for not being a traditional wrestler. We didn't have anything better for him to do. I don't know, man. It's like, I get it. I guess Shane has to be on a WrestleMania match, but it's like, at the expense of making Braun look weak. I don't know. I don't know how Braun recovers from this, honestly.
It took him 10 tries to win a championship.
He's a Susan Lucci of fighting championships.
Hey, don't do Susan like that. I was a fan of her on All My Children, watching it with my mother. Don't do Susan like that.
Good
Susan,
call.
baby girl, boo boo. If you're hearing this, he didn't mean that. Okay.
So I'm anticipating maybe some other matches. We saw the backstage segment with Sheamus and Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle rolled up on the scooter and was talking about scooter. Sheamus grabbed it and ultimately hit him in the gut and knocked him out with it, or knocked the win out of him. So
that can be on the kickoff.
So I'm anticipating Sheamus and Riddle is probably going to be a thing. They did have some good matches on SmackDown last year. I'm like, okay, cool. Other than that, I'm sure.
What about E versus Apollo, man?
That has been officially announced yet, but I'm sure.
WrestleMania's pretty Raw heavy.
Yeah, so I'm sure on so this week on Raw, it was a lot of Raw matches. So I'm guessing on SmackDown this week, we'll get a lot of SmackDown reveals. So I'm guessing Intercontinental Championship, probably even Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are probably going to be a thing. Let's see. U.S. title, I just said with Matt Riddle. There's probably going to be Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. There's probably going to be a Women's Battle Royal.
What about the 24/7 title? When did R-Truth get it back? I didn't even know.
So on Raw last week, Bad Bunny and him were in the hallway, and Bad Bunny just more or less handed it to him and said, "Here, I know it's your baby. Here, you can have it back."
We're doing that? We can just hand.
Yeah.
I said this on the Bulletcast. I'll say it again here. Somebody go to that WWE warehouse and you hand me the big gold. You just bring it here. Just bring me the big gold that's in that crate. I will gladly be the World Heavyweight Champion.
I'm feeling you, man. I like your idea, and I think that's something. I think I even mentioned that too in the past. Like, retire the Universal Championship, bring back the big gold belt. Let Edge win, bring it back.
You saw me post that photo?
Yeah.
Like, it just makes sense. Or Huey, you could just hand this over to me. You can just hand me the real big gold, a real world's title.
I can't wait to get my second vaccine shot, then I can go claim my title.
Oh man, oh Jesus! I don't know. I mean, you can take a picture with it, you can't take it home.
So let me just do a quick skim of Raw. Anything else that I missed? No, I think we hit the major part. Nia Jax and Shayna defeated Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Lana and Naomi were on commentary. So my guess is there's probably going to be maybe a triple threat or a fatal four-way or something. It's probably going to be, there's going to be some form of women's tag titles on the line at WrestleMania. If I had to early guess, my guess is Lana and Naomi are probably going to win it. Baby faces.
Put that shit on the pre-show. I'm sorry. Like we have too many titles, and then you know what?
Yeah.
For no reason, NXT UK is going to get some women's tag team titles.
You get a title. You get a title. You get a title. It's like Oprah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's more or less the highlights from Raw this week and just a build up for WrestleMania 37. So hey man, I'm excited. We're on the road to WrestleMania, man. This is the big time of the year for us WWE fans. I'm looking forward to it.
I know we're going long. Real quick, man, I got a fan mail. What matches from Mania do you watch to kind of get you in the mode?
I mean, I could throw on WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 19. Those are the big two, arguably the greatest WrestleMania cards ever.
What's your favorite Mania?
I mean, probably WrestleMania 17, just because Austin and Rock. WrestleMania 19, that's also special. Even though Stone Cold lost, it was Stone Cold's last match, and I still get really touched and emotional just at the very end. If you watch closely, even though The Rock wins, you see him like talking to Stone Cold, and I think he more or less is saying thank you because he knows that's Stone Cold's last match and Stone Cold put him over. They've had that great rivalry of all those WrestleMania matches, so that's their last one. Stone Cold put him over, and he said thank you. And it's funny, Earl Hebner, you can tell he's trying to get down and listen, and The Rock pushes him away. It's like, nah, don't interrupt. This is a private moment just between the two of us, even though from the thousands and millions of fans watching around the world. It was a special moment between Stone Cold and The Rock. I love that.
19 is my favorite of all time. I mean, just top to bottom. What an awesome show.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid growing up, I love WrestleMania 3, just Andre and Hulk Hogan, just how big that was, in Detroit, in the 93 plus thousand people in attendance. The first WrestleMania 2, just, wait, was Muhammad Ali in that one? The first one? My brother loved Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali making an appearance.
The greatest.
He is. You haven't seen Tommy's room. He has a bunch of Muhammad Ali stuff hanging up. Really is his all-time favorite. And then, of course, Steamboat, Macho Man. Of course. And, WrestleMania 13, with the double turn, Austin and Bret Hart, which was the anniversary this week of WrestleMania 13, the double turn, Stone Cold, the bloody crimson mask, and he became a babyface that night.
Personally, I feel like the match they had at Survivor Series 96 was better.
Yeah, arguably, yeah. I hear you. It was great. Stone Cold tweeted out like a highlight video of him and Bret at WrestleMania 13. In that 2-minute video clip on his Twitter page, I was so compelled with the emotions and the storytelling. I was like, God, some guys need to watch that and do matches like that again. Just that old school style. I mean, I say old school and it's just the 90s, but still. And of course, I got to give a plug for WrestleMania 14 for obvious reasons. Stone Cold wins his first WWE Championship.
WrestleMania 14, Kane's first WrestleMania match. The Undertaker, he wrestles Taker, 3 tombstones. Yes, absolutely.
So, but yeah, that's the thing. Maybe we get closer. We could do some more all-time favorite WrestleMania cards and matches. I mean, there's so many. Obviously, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker Triple H. I mean, there's so many great moments. Even, Cena and The Rock, that was fun too at the time. So, we'll get into that.
Once in a lifetime, brother.
Was it twice, right? It was actually twice.
It's one for people who, passed away in between. It was once in a lifetime, technically.
Yeah, good point. Good observation.
AEW talk now?
Yeah, man. So jumping over to AEW Dynamite this week. We'll power through this, but fun show overall. I mean, I was texting you earlier, and you had some thoughts. What do you think overall of this show for this week?
I actually have something good to say about Kenny Omega.
What's that?
Wow. I actually enjoyed his promo this week.
I know, me too. So let's jump right into it. Opening match, Kenny Omega, AEW World Champion. This was the match that Tony Khan talked about at Elevation last week. In 9 days, you, Kenny Omega, Matt Sydal, 9 days. Oh, did you see that video clip of it?
I did, yeah.
Tony, like his eyes were closed. I don't know if he had allergy issues.
This is why you need to just stay backstage.
So, Kenny Omega taking on Matt Sydal. Don Callis came out, was on commentary. Dude, great match. I mean, come on. These two guys are high flyers. I enjoy the match overall. Kenny Omega dominated the majority of this match. Rightfully so. He is the world champion. The very end, I enjoyed as well, Matt Sydal, how he almost tried to get out of the One Wing Angel and countered it. But then ultimately Kenny countered back and nailed the One Wing Angel for the win here. But anything else from this match that stood out for you?
Yeah, no, he countered the One Wing Angel, and he gets on the top rope and tries to go airborne, wink, wink. And trigger One Wing Angel. But by the way, I've said this before, the One Wing Angel takes too long to set up. He needs a new move.
It does take a long time, and that's why I was kind of nice to see Matt Sydal counter it, because it's like, dude, he had time to recover.
Yeah. I thought it was a fine match, because Kenny doesn't wrestle all that often. He's trying to be like a big dog, be a champion, and not wrestle all the time. Yeah.
So the ending here, we saw Sydal attempted a top rope hurricanrana, but Omega countered, dropping Sydal down hard. Below onto the turnbuckles, Omega hit a Snapdragon suplex. Sydal snuck in a lightning spiral, folding up Omega like an accordion. That's what it says on AEW's website. But the champ kicked out at 2 count. Sydal attempted Meteora, but Omega countered with 2 V-triggers. These V-triggers were laid in hard, man. And then Sydal kicked out and went searching for a shooting star press, as you said, going airborne. But Omega swiped at the ropes and knocked Sydal off balance. Omega had enough and went after another V-trigger and then One Wing Angel and pinned him. So, good stuff, man. And yeah, we'll talk more about Kenny Omega in a bit. Next up, we saw the Dark Order backstage. We saw John Silver warming up doing like trust falls, or the Dark Order doing trust falls, and he was like dodging them, like testing his agility. I was kind of like, all right. I mean, it was funny, but I'm like, okay, right on. And we saw Hangman Adam Page off to the side warming up, and he went off to the ring to take on Cesar Bononi. By the way, Cesar Bononi, I know he came from NXT. Doesn't he look like the big guy from Happy Gilmore? Do you remember Happy Gilmore? The guy who was also in The Longest Yard, the original one, the Burt Reynolds 1974 one.
Oh, God.
He was also the guy from the James Bond movies, I think, the villain. That's what he looks like to me when I see him. But, not a lot to say here. Page pretty much dominated and picked up the victory here. Is there anything else from this match you wanted to touch on?
Not much.
Yeah, so it was cool for Heyman. Just keep his momentum going. Next up, so we saw Lance Archer cut a promo, and he's holding Sting's baseball bat and calls out Sting. And I don't know, man. Is Lance Archer and Sting gonna have a program now? Are you for that? I'm like, come on.
If he actually gets in the ring and wrestles, sure, why not?
Unless it's going to be another cinematic match. I mean, because like Sting, that's the best way to cover up his age and his, body injuries that he suffered.
Well, if you can't physically do the job, you shouldn't be in there. Like, what?
That's why I'm like confused. It's like Lance Archer, I guess he's full blown heel again, but why do you have to go after Sting? I'm like,
Dude,
God, is he going to get buried again?
He didn't have to stay in TNA for all that long. He could have been there for a little second, went over to WWE and had a match with The Undertaker and had a decent retirement. What are we doing?
I know. Well, I don't know. Money talks, whatever the case, the motivation is. So anyway, I'm just worried for Lance Archer because just right when I think he was getting on a roll again, he was winning matches. He was becoming a strong baby phase. Now he's going to be in a program with Sting and he's like a heel again. And I'm just like, he's going to cut him off at the legs again and all the great momentum he's built up in recent times. So I'm a little frustrated with all that. Next up, they had highlights of Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker's match from last week. Tony Schiavone was out there to interview Britt Baker. Philip, what an awesome promo here.
Bro, let me tell you, man. She said Mick Foley thanks for the thumbs up, but it took you 20 years to become a hardcore legend. I did it in one night. And then she also says the 3 most important ledgers in pro wrestling today are DMD, which, I mean, in reality, it's RKO or WWE.
Exactly. When they said that, she said, I yelled at my TV screen, RKO! That's what I was thinking.
Then hit the pose real quick. Shout out to the Skull Sessions.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
But no, great promo here, just recapping. And even though she lost, Britt Baker really became the star in that match. And Thunder Rosa, even though she won, she is a little bit of an afterthought, but I mean, it's still a great win for her. She still booked strong. But Britt Baker, really, she's going to use this momentum, I think, to go to a new level. And I really hope she becomes AEW Women's Champion very soon. She has to get an opportunity soon. But no, I love this promo, just solidify her as a heel, and just how great that match was, and everything you just mentioned, that the kick ass she did in that one. So look, that's great stuff. Let's see. Next up, we saw Dasha backstage interviewing Christian Cage, and he was hanging out with the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin, one half of Top Flight. I actually enjoyed this segment for multiple reasons. One, I like seeing Christian Cage, the veteran, the legend that he is, talking to the younger guys. It looked like he was trying to give some advice. He was concerned about Dante's brother, where he's been. I kind of joined that aspect of it. And that's something Christian Cage, I think, said in some interviews recently. He's like, he is coming back to wrestle, but he wants to help the younger talent as well. Help put them over, help be guiding them. He's saying like a lot of good things. And this signing for AEW, I think, is going to be a big, huge win for them long term. And really, I think, helping the young talent get over. And just for that roster as a whole, as a positive influence in the locker room. But yeah, what'd you think about this segment here?
It was fine. I'm looking forward to Christian versus Frankie Kazarian. Brandon said 2 guys in their 40s are going to wrestle each other. I'm like, well, yeah, but they're good. Like, Kazarian's underrated too, man. Mm-hmm. Super underrated. And Christian, we're going to see him out. This is the chance to prove that you can outwork everyone. Yeah,
finally. So Frankie Kazarian comes in, cuts him off, and says, yeah, when are you going to outwork everyone? When are you actually going to go in the ring? And so he challenged him, and yeah, their match is going to be next week on Dynamite. I'm looking forward to that. He also, Kazarian told him, come Monday to Elevation, watch his match there, get a preview. So I'm looking forward to this. Finally get Christian Cage going. Get him in the ring. He's had a couple promos and stuff. So it's like, all right, let's get the ball rolling on Christian Cage's run in AEW. Next up, it was the trios match. So it was the Pinnacle, their first match as this faction. So it was FTR and Sean Spears taking on the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin, who we saw just earlier with Christian Cage. Man, this match, I was kind of surprised. So this is the Pinnacle's first match as finally the established faction. And dude, this first half of the match, the baby faces, the young guys, were dominating. They were laying it into the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle had to roll out the ring and kind of regroup and kind of have like a quick team meeting on the outside. And that's when they went to commercial picture-in-picture. And then when they came back after that, during the picture-in-picture, they were dominating on Brian Pillman Jr. a lot. But when they came back into the ring, out of commercial, they pretty much squashed them and picked up the victory here. But yeah, how'd you think of this debut match as the Pinnacle era of this faction coming together?
It was cool, man. I sent you something. Go check that on Instagram about the Pinnacle. Okay. I think that's really cool, and we could see that happen sometime in the future.
Let me see.
It was fine,
yeah, totally.
Wardlow with the FTW title in the back.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you sent me a photo. It's like a fan-made graphic. So, yeah, MJF with the AEW World Championship, FTR with the tag titles, Sean Spears with the TNT Championship, and Wardlow with the FTW. Yep. Dude, that makes sense, man.
It would be cool. It'd be badass for sure. I like how Sean Spears got the win, which is different. Normally FTR would have gotten the win. It was fine. The promos after, that Cash Wheeler says, "I don't have a wife and kids, but these men are my family, and I will die for them."
Yeah.
And then Daxar was like, "The Marquee says professional wrestling, and we do that better than anybody." And then MJF hops on the stick and does what he does, and he did another Jericho dig. I forgot which one he said this time.
He said, sit down or break the
break the walls down.
Yeah, you usually come out and break the walls down, but you would just come out here now and just break the seat you sit in, or actually here, let me see. Let's see. I'm looking at AEW's website. Let's see. Ran down Chris Jericho with the insults. He didn't. No, they didn't even list it here. But yeah, he more or less says you normally come down and break the walls, but yeah, you're gonna break the seat you sit in or something like that.
Oh, because he's older and he's kind of bloaty. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. So screw you, MJF. Chris Jericho's gonna kick your ass. I predict that at some point.
Text him and tell him I'm thinking about him.
I hope you're okay, man.
I hope you're okay, bud.
If you need anything, let me know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I love this promo. Like what you said, it really, I think, solidifies them on the same page. And it just shows they're going to be the ones to run roughshod across AEW. So looking forward to that. And Inner Circle, once again, not on TV this week. So really selling those injuries and that beatdown, which is great. That's what you got to do, I think, to really put over the Pinnacle as a heel faction. So next up, so we saw Team Taz doing a promo here. More or less, Team Taz is like, everything's fine, we're all good. He said Brian Cage apologized for calling Sting an icon to the rest of Team Taz. He said, we're good, Hobbs. And Hobbs like, yeah. Said, are you good, Hook? And it's like, yeah. How about you, Ricky? And he's like, yeah. And then Brian Cage was like, who better? And he was just kind of half-ass it.
Who better?
Yeah, man. Team Taz, are they going to start falling apart now?
Possibly, dude. You know?
I feel like Team Taz for the longest time, for months, were just kind of going through the motions and kind of doing the same stuff. And I think that the Sting Darby Allin program went a little too long. And now Team Taz, I think, has lost a lot of momentum as a badass group. Because now you have the Pinnacle, who are like the fresh, hot, young toy that everyone's really into now. Team Taz is like kind of falling to the side now. And we're kind of booked a little bit jokish for a while. So I don't know how Team Taz is going to rebound. Does Brian Cage leave the group? Do they have like a falling out, split up? I mean, or they got to get back on the same page. So that's going to be interesting. Next up, we see Tony Schiavone interview QT Marshall. Dude, I'm not going to lie. This segment overall, I was just, I could not care for it. I'm sorry, QT Marshall. I've said it before.
When did he get married?
He had the thing with the bunny, last year?
I mean, he could have gotten married after the
bunny story.
After the bunkhouse stampede, because he said he's known her since he was 8 years old.
Yeah.
He didn't say high school sweetheart or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So maybe, she helped him become more financially stable because, the bunny used all his money. And, I mean, so he says, I'm Cody's friend. That's all I'm known as. And, Cody comes out there, dripping, with the suit. Cody's one of the drip.
Got the headphones, which is cool. Nice little touch.
Takes out the production, has the sling on. And he's like, you know what? Okay, if you want the little exhibition, we can do this. It's fine.
You brought that up. He had his arm in the sling to selling his shoulder injury. I was like, wow, you have an arm in the sling. So you're selling the arm injury that you got from Penta last week and the shoulder injury that you've been dealing with. So you're selling it now, but you couldn't sell it at the end of that match last week with Penta that you and I talked about when he took the arm bar from Penta but still rolled him up.
He and Brandy took a photo on a plane a little while ago. He had the sling on, so it's been selling.
But can't sell it in his actual match when it mattered. It's like, okay.
He was a little upset for real, guys.
Yeah, man. Maybe isolate this, put it on social. But anyway, so, QT's more or less frustrated. He's just known as Cody's friend, his assistant, and just, Cody gets all the attention. He's doing all the work and grinding and just, he's frustrated. He's really much like a disgruntled employee, it sounds like here. Cody comes out and says, well, you're my best friend, man. And I was like, that's your best friend? Man, don't you have other friends and stuff? But anyway, yeah, exhibition. Cody is going to show some mercy. So anytime he lands like a figure four or crossroads, he's going to just let it go. So if it's going to be exhibition.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't understand.
I don't care. I mean, it's like, why is QT getting as much TV time? It's QT Marshall.
He could be a really good worker. We don't know. Brandon said he's kind of the skinny fat guy that does a weird moonsault.
I'm just like, I'm sure QT. I never met the guy. I don't know. I'm sure he's a great guy. But it's just like, I'm sorry, man. You got so many other, I said this last week, you got so many other big stars on that roster who are not doing anything. on TV right now. Give that time to them.
I'll probably let's both watch some QT Marshall stuff. Let's watch some matches of his, and then after the match on Wednesday, we can come back and have an informed discussion about his in-ring work. I know what he feels like, man. You get all the attention, and I'm just the other guy. I'm just the friend. No, I'm just playing. I get all the attention on the Bullet Cast. Brandon's just the friend. He knows his role. He knows his place.
Know your role. Shut your mouth,
brother.
Rock. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying also for I lost my train of thought about QT. It's like, listen, I get it, he's frustrated with Cody, and yeah, it doesn't make sense with his wife being there, and he had the bunny segment, the storyline last year. It's just, what the hell?
Look, man, a win over Cody, this could be his road to the top. Speaking of that, we're having a new reality series on TNT. It's going to be called Roads to the Top. It's going to feature, of course, Cody and Brandy. They were on a reality series, Wags Atlanta, a couple years ago when Cody first on the indie scene. People have been calling this Diet Ms. and Mrs., which I think this is going to be more entertaining than Ms. and Mrs.
Well, it sounds like just from the trailer that we saw, it looks like it's really going to focus them on the road and working with AEW. It was funny. You saw like MJF for a split second. So I'm like, oh, is he going to break character? Or is it going to be MJF, heel MJF like he always is?
You saw like Tony Khan, B-roll, 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 B-roll.
But I'm just saying, like, yeah, it very much the comparisons of Miz and Mrs. Wait.
Yeah, dude, bro, somebody got on Facebook and tried to argue this with me, and I'm like, well, about reality television. I'm like, well, Tough Enough was, kind of like a reality real world. He's like, no, it's not. It was for a contract. I'm like, well, no shit, it was for a contract. I'm saying the group dynamic, they were all living in a house together on Tough Enough.
The original one, right, in the early 2000s?
Yeah, even the one Velveteen Dream was on, they were all living in a house together.
Yeah. But I grew up on the original one in the early 2000s that Maven won.
Yeah.
Right? Remember Maven?
Yes. He's just like an attorney now or something.
Yeah.
And check out Sean Ross from Fightful. He tracked down Nydia. You remember her?
Really? Yeah.
He tracked her down. That was an interesting one. But yeah, like Tough Enough, like they were all living. We're going off on tangents on reality shows. They all lived in a house together. Same with on the Real World, and there was more drama on the Real World because obviously you needed that. But on Tough Enough, there were tryouts and competitions and some drama, some heat.
Well, I was gonna say, you notice I didn't realize this at first, but on Real World, you notice they never had TVs inside their house. TVs were not allowed. That way it forced the people to talk to each other and go out and do stuff. I never realized that. I realized that was the case because I think it was Real World Chicago in 2001. I think it was that one. Was it Chicago? When 9/11 happened. So they were filming when 9/11 happened. And so obviously we know what happened the day of 9/11. So they brought in a TV so they can watch the news and see what was going on in real time. So that was a big wake up call. It's like, oh yeah, they didn't have a TV in the house. Real World does it. So that was like they broke protocol, obviously, for real life emergency. So
I've only seen one season, one full season of the Real World.
I grew up on the Real World, man. I gotta watch it. I guess on Paramount Plus. They reunited the very first cast of the Real World New York from like 1992, 30 years later, in the same house.
That's interesting. It was like a 2014 season. That's the only one I've seen.
Okay.
But it seems like a nice, interesting little tidbit. Looks like TNT's really invested in AEW.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too, also, like Ms. and Mrs., their show, it's more life outside WWE and them doing like funny things together, going shopping, getting in these wacky situations and playing it out. So Cody Rhodes' reality show with Brandy, it looks like it's gonna be a little more focused maybe on running AEW and the day-to-day operations there. So I'm curious how that's gonna go. So it's like, it's interesting. So we got like Being Elite, which shows behind the scenes stuff. We got AEW Dark, AEW Dark Elevation. You got Dynamite, obviously. A lot of members of the roster doing vlogging now. So it's a lot of content to consume AEW now, which is very interesting. So if you're a fan of AEW, there's just so much to keep track of. But anyway, back to QT Marshall. I don't really care. Just get it over with. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. So what happened with Cody and Penta? Is that one and done now?
Yeah, he beat him. Why not? I wanted to see more too, but you know they're quicker than at least WWE would have tried that for a couple weeks and then dropped it.
3 pay-per-views in a row.
Yeah,
6 months. Looking at you, Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio and the whole Mysterio family. God, too long. That was longer than 6 months. It was like
somebody
8.
lost an eye. Jesus.
And a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of Penta, next up it was the AEW World Tag Champions Young Bucks along with Brandon Cutler taking on the Lucha Brothers and featuring Laredo Kid, which I guess Pac is injured or something. That was kind of why Laredo Kid was a fill-in. But dude, this match, I was exhausted after just watching the match. So many spots, one after another. It was way too much to keep track of.
Yeah, it got really spot festy. I didn't know Brandon Cutler could fly.
I know, dude. He got some rub in this match. He got some big
This
moments.
was the first Cutler match I've seen since that first episode of Dynamite where he wrestled MJF.
Yeah. But Laredo Kid looked awesome, man. I thought that was great too for him. So ultimately the finish, Laredo tagged in and Matt Jackson caught him with 2 German suplexes. He powerbombed Rey Fenix onto the corner turnbuckle, tagged in Nick. The Bucks hit risky business. Cutler crashed down on the Rey Fenix after springboarding up on top. Cutler helped his partners with an assisted indie taker, and in the middle of the melee, Laredo Kid ran in with the Spanish Fly and Cutler and scored the pin. So a little bit of a shocker. Team Young Bucks lost here, but Cutler ate the pin, so it's not the end of the world here. But then Kenny Omega ran out and started beating up Laredo Kid and hit him with the microphone. And Kenny Omega said he was having vivid flashbacks from Fyter Fest. And also, he said, I recognize you from AAA. I remember it was a AAA Mania, wherever it was, that show last year. Kenny Omega took on Laredo Kid for the Mega Championship. So they do have a little bit of history together, him and Laredo Kid. But ultimately, this promo was really good. It was Kenny Omega. He really had some strong stances here as far as calling out the Young Bucks. And, you know, ultimately here, I'm just going to read what the quotes were. It says, 3 years ago, I had a choice. Did I chose to stay at home and with the fans that love me? That's a reference to New Japan. No. Did I go to New York? Reference to WWE. No. You're thinking I chose AEW. No, I chose AEW. I chose the Young Bucks so we can make this the best wrestling promotion on the planet. And rather than sit with the cool kids in the high school cafeteria, you chose Brandon Cutler. I'm going to give you one more chance. Are you with me? Toss it up for the hard cam. It's now or never. Are you with me? I may not agree with everything Don Callis said, but you guys have changed. Man, I thought this was a very strong promo from Kenny Omega because it's true. 3 years ago, he was the hottest wrestler in the world. The match he was having in New Japan, everyone loved him there. You know, everyone thought he was going to go to WWE. He's going to go to somewhere else. But no, he stuck with his boys, the Elite, and they started AEW. And so I can see from his standpoint why he's a little frustrated, the Young Bucks.
He was overhyped then. He's super overhyped now. This is the best promo I've ever heard of him, though.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I wish he would have went to New York. And don't say New York. Let's not be too cute.
I know.
I know you can't use the actual company's name, but you could say Stanford or something. Like, get original. And yeah, it's like, oh, hard cam. Let's too sweet the hard cam. Stop being too cute with that stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, personally, I wish he would have went to WWE, but that's a whole other thing. This is like I said, this is the best promo I've ever heard of him. He's been doing this for 20 years. He finally cut a good promo.
Yeah.
Congratulations, kid. You know how to talk on the mic.
And then the Bucks walked away with Brandon Cutler, and Kenny Omega said, we're done. And then the Lucha Brothers attacked Kenny Omega from behind, laying him out. And in the process, he was busted open. The Good Brothers, who came out super late, helped him up to his feet. He looked so busted up. He was selling that. Loved that. But the Good Brothers, man, hella slow, running to the ring, man, making the save. So I'm guessing, is this going to be the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega versus Moxley and the Young Bucks at some point? 6-man tag.
I'm fine with it.
Next up, we saw Moxley and Eddie Kingston kind of promo backstage, and they're pretty much just saying, hey, we're going to go after the Good Brothers for payback for beating them up. Eddie Kingston has the busted leg. It's in a cast. and I mentioned this last week, I'm fine with this for Moxley since he's not on the title scene right now. Go off on this side story for a bit with Eddie Kingston, and the Good Brothers are a good opponent to go up against just to keep him occupied for the time being. Next up, Nyla Rose took on Tay Conti here. Man, this was Tay Conti's breakout match. I thought she looked great here. What'd you think?
She looked really well. I mean, she beat Nyla Rose, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she hit the hammered DDT. Isn't that Andrade's finisher as well? Didn't he use that most recently? So
yeah. That was his go-to.
Yeah, so for her, she looked great. Obviously we know about her history in WWE and NXT. So I just think I know Britt Baker gets a lot of attention. I tweeted this out last night. Britt Baker's getting a lot of attention over the last year as like one of the most improved female wrestlers on AEW. A lot can be said for Tay Conti as well. She's really improved in her time in AEW. And I mean, it shows she got a lot of great training in WWE. She's carrying that over now and she's improving. So, and she has a great record. I think she's one of the top, if not the top ranked women in the rankings. So I can see they can maybe start pushing her in that title picture scene as well in the near future. It was cool. Dark Order came out before the match, kind of offered their support, the hand signal, I guess. As we all know, Tay Conti and AJ were tagging up. AJ's injured. So I guess it's just Dark Order's offering their services of support for Tay Conti here. And then we see Nyla Rose beat up Tay Conti after the match. After she lost, Tay Conti picked up the victory. Then we see the Bunny come out. She also was beating up on Tay Conti. Sheeta came out for the save. And then Matt Hardy came out with the Butcher and the Blade. And he said the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament was a sham because the Bunny wasn't in it. So he's just kind of putting over his newest signing of his little faction he has growing, the Matt Hardy Empire, I think it's called, or they have like the Matt Hardy Office. I think that's the name, another name for it. So it looks like it's going to be a tag match next week. Sheeta and Tay Conti versus Nyla Rose and the Bunny. So, and then we saw a promo. Arcade Anarchy is going to be next week. Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor taking on Miro and Kip Sabian. I'm so over this program. I don't know about you, this whole feud thing. So Arcade Anarchy. All right.
Yeah, that's the thing about the creative freedom. We don't, no. This is stupid. This is dumb.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully Miro will move on after this completely. Main event time for the TNT Championship. Darby Allin defending against John Silver. I said this on Twitter last night. I really want to see AEW to use the TNT Championship to main event more episodes of Dynamite. Now that Darby is done dealing with Team Taz, and he even cut that promo last week where he said, listen, I've been champion for a few months now, but I've only defended it 3 times. So hopefully that's a sign, it's a reset for him, and he's going to really focus on defending that championship every week on TNT, on AEW Dynamite. And dude, I really enjoyed this match. John Silver, for a little guy, but the big muscles, he is so explosive in this ring. What'd you think of it?
Johnny Hungy. he can go, man. He can go. I thought it was quick, fast paced. Darby, noticed he keeps rolling up guys. He doesn't beat them decisively.
Dude, Darby takes a beating every match, and then he picks up the victory at the end. A little scary moment. John Silver, at one point, he jumped over the rails and looked like he popped his shoulder or dislocated. He was trying to pop it back in, and you could tell he was kind of he kind of slowed down after that. From that point on in the match, he slowed down. Darby Allin did a interview after, or promo after, and he revealed John Silver did hurt his shoulder. I believe it's dislocated. If that's the case, hopefully he's not out too long. At least it's not separated, because separated shoulder, he'd be out a lot longer, very much like we saw. Is it Danny Burch, right, from NXT? Let me see. Danny
Burch, yeah, he's injured.
Yeah, he's out 6 months with the shoulder injury, so that sucks. But so dislocated shoulder, you can kind of bounce back from that a little bit sooner. So John Silver, and listen, I'm just happy John Silver had this opportunity to main event Dynamite. He's earned it. He's really got himself over in the last year, especially with being the Elite and the stuff he did with Brody Lee, and just how his character work has really evolved. So I'm really happy for him. He had an opportunity to main event this show and just really show the masses what he's capable of. So I'm really happy for him. Dark Order were outside supporting him. And then Sting comes out with the baseball bat and trying to, I guess, help protect Darby Allin, even though Dark Order weren't really doing anything, even though Darby did the suicide dive on, was it number 5 of Dark Order. So it was kind of just weird seeing Sting just make the random appearance out there, but he had to show up, I guess. But ultimately Darby Allin picked up the victory there. So Silver, he hurled Darby off the top rope and then went to cover Darby Allin, but Darby lifted his foot to the rope to stop the count, and Darby Allin counted, connected with the Code Red and pinned John Silver. So a very fun main event here, despite the little scary injury for John Silver. Overall, it was a lot of fun. Darby and Sting showed respect to John Silver after the match, and Darby offered a fist bump. Out of nowhere, Matt Hardy jumped over the barricade, grabbed at Darby Allin. All hell broke loose as Matt Hardy, Private Party, and Butcher and the Blade began brawling with Darby, Sting, and the Dark Order. Ended on that, so obviously that's going to lead to some stuff for next week's episode of Dynamite. So overall, a lot of fun stuff here. And yeah, man, looking forward to AEW next week. Any other takeaways from this show, Philip?
I think it's fine. I mean, obviously, you know, people are still buzzing about the death match and the death match dentist, Britt Baker, and everything that Thunder Rosa did. So we'll let that cool off, and we'll see where everybody's going next week, moving forward. Yeah,
and if you want more Kenny Omega, he cut a really long promo on Impact Wrestling this week, just selling that he's in Rich Swann's head, and just the one wing angle is the most devastating move out there. No one's kicked out of it, and he even referenced Ibushi from New Japan. So it's that little Easter egg that they're probably going to fight each other in the near future. So check it out. It's on Impact Wrestling's YouTube page if you want to watch that, and they have a highlight video of all the one wing angels he did recently, a little collage. So that was good. So, but no, overall, man, fun episode, man. Jam-packed episode of In The Kliq here. We covered a lot of ground, man. I love it. So, Philip, let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. Where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me online at Heel Antwine, HeelAntwyne, on Twitter and Instagram. At Bulletcast on Twitter. The Bulletcast on Instagram. The Bulletcast on YouTube. Complex Conversations on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Cheekly TV, Instagram, YouTube. I'm all over the damn place. This has been fun. This has been nice. I always enjoy talking to Baby Huey. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever. So was the microphone messiah. Sean was always better than Austin.
Wow. We'll see about that. There's I love it. It's always an ongoing debate. That's what makes pro wrestling so much fun, aka sports entertainment. All right, I'm Baby Huey. As always, follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey 83, at In The Kliq, also Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions, I want to do another email segment once again very soon. Email us your questions, topics, anything you want us to get into, inthekliq@gmail.com. Get the merch, clicking the link in our bio on our social media pages. Help the show out. Get some shirts out there. Also get some Bulletcast merch as well on Pro Wrestling Tees. And, then, looking forward to, man, we got a lot of great stuff coming up. We're on the road to WrestleMania, so we're going to do our best to cover everything from that week that is. And please listen to our previous episode of In The Kliq. John LaRocca and I covered all the NWA stuff as well. So we're going to do our best to cover everything that's going on, man. There's so much pro wrestling, and I want to cover it all. I want to be your go-to source for everything pro wrestling, especially here in the Bay Area. We love our Kliqsters out here in Northern California, respectively. So on that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.